You know, there's so many more things that you can do with your RV during the colder winter months, particularly in the holiday season. We're all looking for ideas on how to camp in the cold or winterize or take care of our camper or, I don't know, stylize, revitalize, you name it. We try to do it. However, during the holidays, you can do still more, and we have a few ideas on what you can do with your trailer during the holidays. And
we're going to get to talk to somebody who is trading in one small trailer for another.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. That's why we stopped to talk to them.
That sounds cool. So let's roll into the intro. This week's show is brought to you by Intech RV. They just released their new Terra Oasis trailer, and it is a thing of beauty. It is, I don't know even how to describe it, but it would fit in the luxury category so well. Well built, well appointed. The space is fantastic. So do check it out at intechrv.com. We got to look at it. Check out our video on Princess Craft's YouTube channel. But intechrv.com is where you get all the specifications and details. Again, intechrv.com. And thank you for sponsoring this episode. Welcome once again to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and all the people, places, and things that go along with them. We're your hosts from Princess Craft RV. I'm Clint.
I'm PJ.
And I'm Lindsay. Thank you so much for listening today.
Don't forget that you can check out all the recent episodes at rvsmalltalk.com. You can also join our community on Facebook. It's the RV Small Talk community, where you can share your travels, your photos. Dog photos are always welcome. Maybe you have some questions or anything like that. And we're doing a new thing, or at least we have been for 2 or 3 weeks now, so we think it's a new thing. We're doing a live video chat on Facebook and on YouTube. If you want to join us, it's noon. It's 12 o'clock noon Central Time. And we get on in front of a video camera. It's unedited.
And if you want to join us, it's Friday at noon.
And if you like leaving comments or you like asking questions, we're looking for you.
That's right. Hope to see you there.
Well, that's all I want to deal for the business end of things. Let's go ahead and jump on into this episode. I'm so excited, and I'm going to drink my coffee.
What are you excited for, Clint?
My coffee.
Oh, I thought it might be like decorating your camper for Christmas.
You know what? I am going to decorate my camper for Christmas. I'm going to put a lock on the tongue that's different than the lock that I currently have. And I'm going to put a boot on the wheel, and it's bright yellow, so it's kind of colorful and festive.
Not a Christmas color, but festive.
Right. So I'm kind of tickled about that. It's kind of decorated. Actually, my daughter loves the trailer so much that she just wants to do art projects in the trailer all the time. So I might as well just give her colored paper, scissors, glue, and whatever. But I'll pass on the glitter. I don't need glitter coming out everywhere.
Coming out of your rugged trailer.
Right, but she would. She turns everything into a fanciful princess land if I'm not careful.
Well, why be careful? It's meant to have fun.
Yeah, but it's a really rugged, manly trailer. I don't need like the foo-foo unicorns all over the place.
Nah.
It's fine, actually. I kind of enjoy it.
Well, that's one of the fun things that we thought would be great to do with your trailers, right?
Sure.
We have tons of yard art in our backyard. Our front yard's pretty like plain.
Uh-huh.
But in the past, we have actually put trailers in our front yard, decorated them with lights, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I think that there's something about a trailer or an RV, particularly anything that looks retro, but I'm cool with anything modern as well, that just lends itself for scenes. You can make a scene around an RV so easily in front of your house. So if you're decorating, you know, like I don't want my run-of-the-mill kind of lights on the house, wrap a tree trunk kind of thing.
Well, why can't I have it all?
You can, but
okay.
You can also have a centerpiece trailer that you can create a scene around. And I don't care if you make it a Santa Claus scene or an elf scene or a Lord of the Rings scene or a Star Wars scene, or check this out. It's so easy to make an Uncle Eddie scene or Cousin Eddie scene.
There is somebody in my neighborhood who has Eddie for their Christmas decorations. And he's actually standing out by the curb with sewer hose and all, and a broken chair.
Yeah, and your
Right
HOA
there.
loves it.
Oh, my HOA.
That's what I was
is
going to
so
say. I think
strict.
maybe it's the one time a year you can put your trailer in your front yard and not get yelled at because it's decoration
Yes,
and cover it with lights.
absolutely. So what's some other ideas of what we can do with our RVs for the holidays, specifically for the holidays, not just your usual, what you can do in the cold months?
Hide.
Hide. Tell me more about this hide.
Run away.
Well, I guess it would be a good way to have a spare bedroom for guests that are coming.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. When I think about it, it's just a good place to hide. Like if you don't want to see your family, or if you need a secret place to wrap presents
Yes.
or do something secret. What else do you do in secret? I don't know.
I think it'd be a neat thing because my wife's family loves to play a card game that gets pretty rambunctious, and cards can go everywhere with this thing. Maybe I ought to relegate their game to the trailer this year.
Or maybe you can relegate to the trailer and let them play the game
Honestly,
inside.
better yet. I'm down
Yes.
for that.
And so just having an escape pod, I think, is a cool thing to use a trailer for.
Mm-hmm.
Why not have it at your house plugged in? Make it part of your Christmas cheer.
Sure. So what about this? Oftentimes we're scrounging for space to cook all the food and store all the food and things like that as we're preparing for the family to come over. Granted, this year may be very different for the vast majority of us, but let's say in a more normal year, you may not have all that space to prep, to cook, and to store things for the few hours before it's time to set out the Thanksgiving or Christmas spread. Well, your RV may actually have this thing called a kitchen and a refrigerator.
Yeah, I saw somebody just on one of the Facebook groups, I think it was Taxa, the Facebook groups, where they had taken their 12-volt cooler out of their trailer and put it in their house to use to defrost their turkey so that they wouldn't have to take up space in their fridge.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Never would have thought of that.
What a smart idea. Wow.
So- Yeah, I mean, you're not using your trailer in that instance, but you're using components of your trailer.
Yeah.
Well, I think that what if you just needed to cook some extra things? You could go in your trailer and, turn on the green beans or mashed potatoes. That's always our dilemma. We don't have 2 ovens. And so it's tough to get everything hot at the same time.
Right.
I don't know. It'd be nice to have a trailer in there that could just help out, Mm-hmm. Plus, I could send people out of the kitchen to go out there and sit with it.
Right.
Like, get out.
You
go
love
to the trailer.
people in your kitchen. Don't lie.
I do now.
Well, your kitchen is
because I have
excellent for gathering
Your kitchen is
people
like
around.
the entire house.
Yes. I mean, my kitchen seats like 23 people or something crazy.
Yeah.
But it didn't used to. It didn't used to, and it was too many people.
Your kitchen's in the middle of your house. It's beautiful. It's spacious. And it's such an open floor plan. It's super
Well, my
inviting.
kitchen is my house.
It's true.
I mean, you're sitting in the kitchen and you can lean over and pat somebody on the head who's sitting on the sofa because they're right there. It's all the same. So,
But would you still think that there'd be a call for some situations where you could use the kitchen as extra kitchen in your refrigerator?
or I'd certainly use it for extra kitchen and extra refrigerator. And maybe you save the good eggnog and you put that in the trailer.
Yeah. You know what? Another centerpiece of so many family gatherings is either the football or the specific Christmas movie, like A Christmas Story or, something like that people watch. And sometimes some of the family wants to stick with that tradition in the main living room, but you just want to watch Star Wars. So you can watch that in your trailer.
Well, if everybody's going outside to play a football game, your trailer could be the locker room.
So if there's actually flag football or tackle football in the street
Oh, you guys
Put out your awning and then sit underneath it to watch.
so it's a
put
good
out
place.
the
Yeah.
awning, and make it the peanut gallery.
Yeah. And once again, that kitchen there, you can serve up hot chocolate right out the window.
Hide the bourbon in the cabinet.
There you go.
See, I know what trailers are for.
Yeah.
right?
I hope so. You've been around them for a while.
Well, that way the kids
man.
get the eggnog and the adults stop by the trailer.
Yeah. You know, another place I like to see trailers show up is in all these little parades that happen this time of year. You light them up, you decorate them up, and you see a really cool trailer kind of pulled through a
That's so
parade
fun.
downtown, an old downtown square.
We
I
used
like
to
that.
put A-liners in the Pflugerville parade downtown.
Yeah.
We decorate them up.
Well, they're the shape
drive
of a
'em through.
Christmas tree.
Yeah, they were really fun.
It's perfect.
Yep, but okay. And in all fairness, do you really think there's going to be neighborhood parades these days?
Yes.
I think so.
You do?
Well,
Yes.
during
it
this
is
time
the most
especially.
like socially distant way to party.
Yeah.
If the
Really?
Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade is still happening,
Is it still happening?
yes, it's still happening.
I had no idea.
You won't see any faces.
New Yorkers are,
But it's New York.
It's happening.
Yeah. So I think that you will see some places try it. Neighborhoods that have, particularly active communities. I was just in another child's parade birthday party this past weekend. And so I think you're going to see, Christmas
everybody-
parades. And
I mean,
all that.
that's exactly how Halloween worked, right?
Yeah.
Everybody just decorated their cars and then drove around while people like handed them candy in the cars instead of
Yeah.
people getting out of their cars. I mean, it was basically a giant parade, but then everybody decorated their cars. So I think Christmas will be the same.
Maybe. Except for Steve. He made this really long lighted chute to put candy through. Did you see
Yeah.
that?
Yep. That's
Yep.
a thing.
And ran the candy out to the people who were knocking on the door. I thought that was so fun.
Yeah, I think that all these ideas can be incorporated. Maybe you have a candy chute in your parade float RV and you use compressed air.
Oh, man.
What? No.
Oh, that's a cannon.
Oh, yeah. That's an air gun.
Send children to the
That is a
hospital.
potato gun. You don't want to do that, okay?
Oh, man. So I don't know. Maybe there's some other ideas we haven't thought of what you can use your trailer for specifically for this festive season, or maybe just even to lighten the mood, do something for your family and friends.
I sure hope people don't give up on Christmas and just say, yeah, we're not doing much this year.
Yeah.
I think now's the time to do everything and then some. Put your trailer in there, make it your own little winter wonderland, lighted scene in your driveway.
You know what?
Why not?
I think if from the moment you hear this episode, you should dress up as an elf and camp in your driveway with your little, scenic RV setup.
And then you should take a picture to see if it'll go viral on YouTube.
Yeah.
Take a video.
Yeah.
We want to see this.
Cool.
So, well, I hope you guys make good use of your trailer during the holidays.
Happy holidays. Y'all. Okay, let's move on. We had a really cool experience. We actually have a lot of cool experiences with people dealing with moving to their new RV. But this is a cool story. And Storme came in. He's had a few RVs, but
11 or just 10, I don't remember,
wait
but
till
a
you hear the
lot.
story. But I mean,
Yeah.
he's had the experience and all. But he's moved through a few of our smaller mid-size, maybe mid-size
I would
trailers.
say mid-sides.
And the story of them moving through these units and then coming to why they are changing units, trading in.
Here's the question. Why do people switch from one unit to another?
Uh-huh.
The statistics show that people change units every 2.5 years on average. Well, you don't wear
Wow,
out.
really?
Yeah. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah. People don't wear out trailers in 2.5 years. So what happens? And how many people do you know that come into shop and they say, no, we have to find the exact right trailer because this is our last trailer and it has to last us a really long time.
Right.
We hear that all the time. Well, people trade in pretty regularly.
Sure.
So we thought it would be fun when we find those people that have really interesting stories, we're going to record them and we're going to have a trade-in segment for you.
Sure.
So this is the first. His name is Storme, and I think we ought to let him tell the story.
All right, let's head on over to the clip. Well, we are here. We're going to do a few recordings here, and this is the first of, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, depending on how many we can get, with people who have made the decision to move from a trailer and RV to a new trailer and RV. So a trade-in situation. And we're going to get kind of the insight why people change, what the feature set is, what the experience has been, things like that. So PJ, who are we sitting down with today?
Today we're talking to Storme, and he informed me the E is silent. Okay. And so thank you for taking the time. Some of us have some masks on here, so I know it's a little muffled. So we are wearing masks, so I'm sorry it's a little muffled. But anyway, we appreciate you chatting with us because you are trading in a Airstream Nest for a new Camp 400. Right?
Both beautiful products.
Thank you.
You got a good taste.
Thank you, sir.
Well, when I heard that we were getting an Airstream Nest, I got really excited. Of course, it's a gorgeous camper. And since we don't carry Airstreams, I always like to see new and different things. So I guess let's talk first about what trailers have you had in the past? Is the Airstream Nest your first trailer?
No, I've had two. I had a little guy to begin with.
A little guy teardrop, the kind that you can't stand up and you just crawl in?
No, it was one you could stand up in. It was kind of when they first made the ones that you could stand up. It was in 2014.
Oh, so it was like the Tab 320s that they make now?
Yes.
Okay,
that's exactly
got it.
what it was. And after owning that for several years, we upgraded to a Tab 400.
What?
And then we had a Tab 400 for several years. And then we said, let's try the Nest. And we tried the Nest and said, let's go back to the Tab 400.
Really?
Wow.
Okay, so this
got way more
cake has
interesting.
layers.
we got layers here,
Yeah.
Storme.
Better a cake than an onion.
There you go. So what feature set would pull you out of a 400 to the Nest? And then the follow-up question is going to be what feature set would pull you out of the Nest back to the 400?
Okay.
So what led you to the Nest from the 400?
Well, there's a couple things. One, kind of owning a Airstream was kind of a bucket list kind of a deal.
Okay, and I get that.
Check.
Just because of the iconic name.
Right.
But we do like the 7-foot width
Okay.
because we tow it with SUV.
Okay.
And it's really nice when the trailer's the same width as your vehicle.
I understand that.
Because where your vehicle goes, your trailer goes, and there's a no-brainer. So it was a bucket list, and when we looked at it, I looked at the bed, and the bed in it's fantastic. It's just a fantastic
Nice.
bed.
And what's fantastic about it? The size?
Well, one, you don't have to kind of crawl into the crack of the teardrop.
Because it's open, right?
It's
it
open,
just goes.
and it has windows all the way around it, so it's very light and very airy, all done in kind of whites.
It is open and it feels open. It's
Yeah.
going to have 1, 2.
Exactly.
And when you crawl into the bed, it's a front to back bed, right? You're not.
No, it's a side.
It's a side to side?
Side. And
So it's a crawl over
it's
bed,
a crawl
but
over,
it's open.
and I've been crawling over for a long time.
Okay, so you're used to that.
Yeah, but if you've ever slept in a teardrop, if you're lucky enough to get the far end, you have to deal with kind of the slanted roof.
Sure.
Okay.
And so
the
I was
slant
thinking,
of it.
let's try this. It kind of fulfills several of the bucket list things, and plus the sleep. You spend a lot of time sleeping in those,
Right.
and so let's just give it a try. And so we did, and used it for a summer, and the bed lived up to all expectations. I mean, it was fantastic, and it towed like a dream. But we found out that we spend a little bit more time inside the camper than we thought we would. And the Tab has that wonderful dinette set up in the front.
Oh, yes.
And so in the Nest, you're kind of walking by each other an awful lot more. And the little dinette is in the middle, and it kind of sticks out a tiny bit into the hall. And so it's just not as comfortable to be inside it, moving around.
Sure.
If that makes sense. And so I had talked to my wife into getting the Nest, and she's in love with the Tab. So she was
Specifically the 400?
She loves the 400. We kind of wish they'd make one a little bit bigger. just a tiny bit bigger, kind of like the little guy.
So, New Camp, are you listening? I'm going to keep beating this in the ground. I'm
Tab
waiting.
500.
Yes, we're waiting for our Tab 500.
If it was a couple feet longer, not much, and you could sleep,
And a front to back bed.
A north to south bed.
it would be just
Broken record.
It would just be about perfect. But I haven't been
agree.
in a little guy. They were owned by the same company, Pleasant Valley. And then they split off in Little Guy. And Little Guy, the last time I was in one, it's a little bit more old-fashioned. The interior decoration
Right.
was a little more fashioned, and I really like the modernness of the Nest and the Tab 400.
Yeah, that's something that they share. They both
Right.
have that
very modern.
Clean.
European,
yes.
clean white look. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we decided to go back. Plus, we said, hey, why not with this COVID thing? The next tab we get something a little bit more boondockish,
Okay.
so that we have the national forest at our disposal too. And
Because you didn't feel like you had that in the Nest.
no, not really. I mean,
Okay.
it's just
Did you just not feel like? I mean, it's a super well built trailer. It just didn't feel like it was meant to go to those locations.
not really. I mean, it's not. Although it has 20-inch tires and stuff, so it has some good clearance. But it just didn't feel like you really wanted to do that with it. And I'm not talking about very rough. I'm towing with a
Sure.
Q7, so I mean, it's not like I'm going to get out there. but it would be nice if you kind of wanted to kind of get into something a little bit more remote and something that you could spend a couple of days off the grid, just a couple. I mean, we're not like a week. We're not like that. And I thought I'd like the rear entry to the Nest, but I kind of do like the side. It feels more like you're in kind of it splits off the dining
Oh, it
from
does.
the rest of it. And
It
so
does.
you can sit there, and while the other person fusses and cooks or does whatever, you can kind of sit there and do what you do. And both of us, I mean, I'm a consultant still. I do a little bit of work, and my wife is a virtual therapist. And so that little work area is a really nice feature.
A little bit of separation.
So with the
goes a long ways.
400, you don't have to walk through the dinette
Exactly.
every time you want to go
Exactly.
anywhere.
Exactly.
That makes sense. I've never thought
Exactly.
about it though.
Now, it did have kind of a neat little feature, though. When you got out of the bathroom, you could open the bathroom of the Nest up, and it created a little dressing room right there with a little closet and everything. So that was kind of cool. And we reconfigured the Tab from the one that we had before, and we're going with a little bit bigger refrigerator. We'll see how that works, because in the other configuration, the refrigerator isn't very big,
Right.
Right.
But this one's a little bit bigger. We'll see how we like it. And I tend to keep trailers for a couple of years. I mean, same thing with cars. I mean, I just do. That's my
And that's
guilty
kind
pleasure.
of you get to figure out what you like about that trailer and then find something else that better fits your needs and then find something else that better fits your needs. So besides the bed, what else are you going to miss about your Airstream Nest?
The light. I mean, it's always like a catch-22 in some regards, because like it's very light, because it's got windows all the way around it, and it's all finishes are a lot of white finishes, but it does show fingerprints too, so you have to you're scrubbing a lot.
Okay.
You're kind of keeping it nice and clean. But I do miss the light. I do miss the comfort of the bed. It had a nice refrigerator, a little bit bigger, and I am going to miss kind of the big wardrobe. But this one doesn't have a wardrobe in it, so we'll have to figure that one out. The wardrobe was great. We never hung things in it. We always put shelving in them,
Right. Okay.
plastic shelving and stuff. But I'll miss that. But that's really kind of it, though, I think,
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, are you super excited about the 400?
Oh, stoked.
Oh, good.
My wife is really stoked, because she wanted to keep the Tab 400, the one we had, and I said, let's try this Nest. If you don't like it, in a year we'll do what you want. And
And here you
you're
are.
Look
so
at
nice.
that.
lucky you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Airstream was not on her bucket list.
Not well, maybe a bigger one.
Oh,
But,
okay.
But I don't want to. I'm at the age I don't really want to haul a lot of big things around. We tend to only stay places a couple of days at the most, 1 or 2 days. We're movers. And we get out there and we like to see a lot of stuff. And we have things that we like to do. We like to go to ballparks, and we like to go to national parks.
Good. I was going to ask kind of where we would find you guys usually heading off to, because you're fairly local to us here in the Austin area.
Yeah.
So where do you go? Ballparks?
Yeah, we have a couple of hobbies. One of them is visiting ballparks, and another one is visiting national parks. And between those two things, you have some urban camping that you do, and then of course you do the national parks and state parks, and then we do, a lot of KOAs and things like that because she works and we need the
connectivity.
The connectivity and stuff. And it's kind of nice when you go into those, you kind of get to clean off and things and kind of get all things squared away again. But so that's what we do. But we tend to move a lot.
Have you been to the Field of Dreams yet?
Oh, yes.
You have?
I figured.
Wait, that's a real place?
It's a real place.
It's a real
Yeah, they
Is
made
it a real baseball
It's a
field or
tourist
is it just a
attraction
field?
now, right?
It's a tourist trap.
Yeah.
But do they play baseball there?
They do
think
exhibition
they do,
stuff,
they
don't
do.
they? I think they do, yeah.
But you don't really see anybody walking out of the cornfields. I mean, if that's what you're there for.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm there for.
you want to, but you don't really see it.
So for anybody listening who might, be struggling with trading in for another unit, it's hard to let go of this one, or they're looking for something else. Do you have any advice for them as far as, you seem to make it such an easy decision. This makes sense and this makes sense. So what would be your advice for other people?
Well, it might look easy from the outside, but you got to do your research. And you've got to go take and lay hands on and take a look at them, what you want. And then it's nice to own one first. They say rent one, but I think you got to get in there, because you rent one for a week, you don't really know exactly.
Right.
Tell you. But I like to get in there and then you'll find out what's important to you and what's not. Obviously, I'm a slow learner because I went from the
I don't think that's a slow learner.
No,
I think
you
it's
have a way
smart
of
progress.
You said it's every 2 years. I know people who did that with cars all the time. Whatever, fine.
So why is it different with trailers?
Yeah,
I think I've owned 70 cars. So I mean, it's not like
he is that guy.
I am that guy.
You have earned your name Storme, right?
Yeah, that's the Storme. So that I do like new. I do like new, and the technology and the stuff. And now that they're introducing a little bit more, Europe does it really good. I wish we could take some.
Slowly,
Europe, right?
Slowly getting bits and pieces.
Yeah. Right.
And I think the Tab 400 is about as close to a European type kind of model.
It's true.
One of them, really. And so we do like to unhitch. And then we take our vehicle and we like to go explore and restaurants and whatever, although that's been curtailed a little bit. But
sure.
So we love the flexibility of that little thing. So.
Are you a trailer namer? Is your wife a trailer namer?
Not
really.
Not really.
You would know if you are.
No.
If you have to think about it.
I was trying to think. When we had the Tab that was a little guy, she called it the little guy.
And, of course, yeah.
And she said we couldn't take the little guy, but no, probably not a namer.
Okay,
No.
fair enough.
No.
That's actually my crowd. I'm not a namer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I used to name my vehicles, but that's been a long time ago.
Okay.
You got over it, huh?
I kind of moved on.
About 40 or 50, you just gave
Then
it up.
I ran out of names. And,
Started using the Greek alphabet like they do for hurricanes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. I've learned a lot about why you traded it in. And
Fascinating.
Yes. Well, thanks so much.
You're
and
welcome.
Maybe we'll see you again in a year or two, right?
If they make that Tab 500,
All right.
I might be back in a
come
year.
on.
All right. The gauntlet has been thrown. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
you.
Storme.
I really am glad that we're going to jump into these segments like this where we hear people's stories, the trade-in, the first-time experience, all that. So we don't know when a good story is going to come our way, but it's really cool that they do come around, and some people are open to the idea of recording with us. How fun to get into the mind and to hear the pathway people have taken.
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is, we can, when we're talking to them about buying the new unit, we'll ask them, what are you looking for? They can't verbalize it, but once they've made the switch, they seem to be able to verbalize it pretty well.
Sure.
So I don't know what happens at that point, but we'll just have to keep talking to people who are just making a change and find out why. I think it's super interesting.
Let's hope that we get lots more fun, creative characters coming through here so that we can keep on bringing this segment to our listeners. It's good for us. It's good for the heart. It's good for the listeners. So let's hope more inspiration walks through our doors.
And in the meantime, we're going to have a great holiday season. We are all still social distancing and dreaming of better days, but hey, we're going to find ways here to have a happy holiday. And if we think of anything, we'll share it with you.
All right. Thank you again for listening. This week's episode, again, sponsored by Intech RV. We are excited about that new trailer. So thank you very much, Intech RV, for letting us see it, letting us video it, and letting us talk about it. IntechRV.com has all the details, all the specs, and you will start seeing these amazing trailers out on the road soon. That's IntechRV.com.
Now let's wrap this thing up. How about it?
All right, put a bow on it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this week's episode of the RV Small Talk podcast.
Happy holidays.
Bye.